Welcome you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. I'm your host, Crispin Valentin. Welcome to another episode. Make sure you go and subscribe to this channel. Why? Because why not? You got nothing to lose. It's free, and you get to enjoy all this amazing content that we have on our channel. So thank you for being here today. We have a amazing story. It's truly going to take you through a roller coaster of emotions, and at the same time you're going to be probably cried, but at the same time you're going to learn and discover this amazing person that's Mirna CEO, that's able to share her story, and now being a Latino in the community, influencing the culture with everything that she's going through. And you definitely are going to be inspired that you can do whatever you want to if you set your mind to it. So enjoy this episode. Mirna, hola, how you doing?
Hola, buenas tardes. Well, good night. Good night.
No, you can't tell.
You go. Yeah. No, thank you so much for having me on here.
I appreciate you very much. We've barely met.
10 seconds in.
Probably about 10 seconds ago. Immediately, it's not like a pitch, right? But it's so many times that you already kind of sort of told the things that you went through and quickly, and immediately creates intrigue and wanted to know more about it. So shout out to Gilberto that put me on immediately. You have to talk to this lady. I think she has an amazing story. So I happen to be that we have an opening for today's date,
right?
Because we want to keep recording amazing people, and so happen to be that we made it happen.
You.
So
hey, well, shout out to him. He's always been amazing since day one. So he's an amazing collector. So shout out to him. Hey, when things are meant to be, they're meant to be, right?
That's what I'm saying. You just can't go against the grain. You just got to go with it. Okay, pero primero, before we get started with this, we're going to do a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. If you have not subscribed to this channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. What you got to lose? Plus, it's free. You're supporting this amazing platform. Become a Global Latin Factor by subscribing today and learning all these amazing stories. ¿Estás lista? Are you ready?
Let's go.
¿Tacos o tortas?
Tacos.
Corn tortilla or flour tortilla?
I think it's flour.
Flour. Gorditas or pupusas?
Pupusas, hands down.
Hands down. We're going to talk about that too. Empanadas or burritos? Empanadas. Jarrito, ¿de qué sabor?
Lime. Right?
Lime?
Is it lime? Yeah.
El
verde.
We're boycotting Coke here too. We're not going with that. We're gonna ignore it and just go with jarritos from now on. Horchata, Jamaica, or tamarindo?
Horchata.
Salsa verde, salsa roja. Do you care for spiciness?
Is this PG-13? No, sí.
PG-13, pero
okay.
you know.
Well, el único chile que me como es el de mi esposo. Put it like that.
Okay. To clarify.
You can edit that out.
Kids, cover your ears, por favor.
Yes.
Okay, so quesadilla salvadoreña or quesadilla mexicana? Oh,
I know.
Sope de gallina or sopa de gallina or pan con pollo. Those are Salvadorian dishes.
I know. I guess caldo.
Caldo?
Caldo de pollo. Yeah. Sorry, you said sopa, right?
Sopa de gallina or pan con pollo.
Yeah. Yes.
Here we go.
Sopa.
learn a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Your profile has the Salvadorian flag, so I kind of.
Okay, cool.
Plus, I know more. She doesn't think I know more, but I know lots. Okay. Enchiladas or chile rellenos?
Enchiladas.
Menudo or pozole?
Pozole.
Valentina Tapatio or Cholula hot sauce? Or do you even have another favorite one that I don't have listed?
No, it just goes back to my other response.
Yeah?
From earlier.
Yeah, what?
I don't do spicy food.
Are you allergic to it?
No, I'm already spicy enough, so, I don't need to eat it.
We don't want you to catch on fire, girl. We don't want you to catch on fire. Por the segurito, we don't want you to catch on fire. No. Menudo or pozole?
Pozole.
Did I say that one already,
right?
You did. Repeat. Churros or flan?
Oof. Flan.
Cumbia, salsa, merengue, or bachata dancing?
Cumbias.
Okay. This one's not even close to the same line of questioning, but it's kind of fun. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. A conspiracy theory that you heard one time that when you heard, you're like, And it could be anything regarding religion too. It doesn't have to exclude. Something aligns that. One of the times we talked about miracles and things like that. So anything that comes to mind?
I guess the one that we were talking about today, I mean, it's like, there's better ones, but I'm going to go with this one just because we were talking about it. So, cuando dicen que, like, si te bañas, no te puedes salir para afuera porque te va a pegar aire, right? Or, like, si estás sudando, like, working out, like, no vayas a salir para afuera porque te va a pegar aire y te puedes torcer y todo eso.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I go to Hot Works, right, to work out. You literally sweat, like, a lot. Mm-hmm. Anyways, these gringos be walking out like nothing. So, no se tuercen. They're good. They're A1. So, at this point, I'm starting to question it. Like, is it really aire? Like, are you really going to get aire? Like, is it just a Latino thing? Like, solo los Latinos agarran aire? Or what? Like...
Well, alguien le pasó y le dijo a todos and now everybody's scared.
Like, at this point, like, is it really real? Or is it, like...
Maybe one Latino one time... was working out, went outside, got like a cramp or something. All of a sudden, he told everybody, hey, I was working out, went outside, me torcí, so you better not go.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, yo tengo un big Care Bear, and if you go on social media, you can see it. It's a Care Bear sweater, but it's huge. It goes down to like my ankles.
Oh, wow.
And I literally put it on because I'm like all scared.
Well, those are more superstitious, and I think there's a little bit of truth on those. It's just depending. Because some things make, like como el empacho.
Yeah.
That's like a Latino thing, but people have died of it. And you can't really explain what it is. Like he overate, but something with his stomach is not set right. But si no se compone.
My husband came from Mexico and he was like, te tienes que tomar esto. And I was like, why? And he was like, well, because me and you are together, so you have to drink it if I drink it. I was like, what kind of Shakespeare thing is it?
What kind of drink was it?
Era para las, ¿cómo se llaman?
Las tripas?
Yeah, las tripas, pero ¿cómo se llaman? Las, when you got, oh man, I wish he was in here. Cuando tienes lombrices, yeah.
Okay.
So he was like, you have to drink this para que se te salgan las lombrices. And apparently it's like legit worms that you would have.
Okay, check this out. So... I grew up in Mexico, this little bitty town. Mm-hmm. We used to grab water from like this little in the ground sometimes. We used to get water from the like the hose.
Yeah.
But we only get water every so often. Like we were like we didn't have a lot. So every 3 months we get water, we have to store it. And then we have to wait for another 3 months. But when we were running low, we'll go to this little creek and get the water right there that was coming from supposedly the volcano. So we just grab it and take it. So we would drink that water like it's nothing. But we used to have lombrices too. And I was thinking of my cousin. I was talking to my cousin like, why do you think we have lombrices? Like we ate fine.
Right.
But then I started thinking is the water that we were drinking, even though it was clear as day.
Yeah.
But all those things that in there that is not treated or nothing. And yeah, that's probably the reason why we had some lombrices.
Did you ever legit see it with your own eyes?
Outside.
Oh, man. Okay. I haven't yet seen
because
it.
we didn't have outhouses either. So sometimes it was just out in the woods. And, one gets curious as a kid. So look back and like oh my God.
Yeah. No, I haven't done that yet. I haven't seen it yet. But, like, I did grow up with it. So, and he came back from Mexico and he's like, te lo tienes que tomar. And I'm like, But, yeah, so I guess lombrices are real, guys.
And even here people be talking about, sometimes on the TikTok shop, whatever, you talking about, you got to deworm and you got to do this and that. I mean.
Pero los doctores no ponen mucha atención en esto, right?
They don't care. They just want to put you on a medication so you can be a repetitive customer for life.
Relax.
Give you a little bit of drugs. Keep up in the scale until you can't take no drugs no more.
For real.
So
that's true.
That's not a conspiracy theory. That's real.
No. Yeah, those are facts.
I'm saying. When you first hear the word Latino, Latina, I don't know if you're familiar with the term Latinx, what is the first things that come to mind to you?
Excitement and proudness and orgullo.
Yep.
Orgullo because we go through so much. And I'm not bashing any other race. I think all races have their own thing. But as Latinos, the stories and what you get to see, like,
right.
How can I say it? Like, my foster parents are Black. So I kind of got to hear their history, and it's hardcore. Like, I'm no lie. Like, I heard their history, and it's hardcore. Pero when I hear my mom's story and my abuela's stories, like, those are just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And which it would explain why I've gone through what I've gone through, right? And yo todavía tuve una vida mucho más mejor, even though everybody's going to say that was traumatic, right? It was way better than what they've gone through. Mm-hmm. And this is just mine. And when you hear every other Latino family story and the things that they've gone through and how they literally stand on cultura and you know, respeto and like the things that keep them humble but yet keep them strong. Yeah. Like, that is just, I'm so proud to be a Latina, and I wouldn't change it. So gracias, Diosito. Yeah. Now, I do believe that Latinos should be more unidos. We should like hype each other more. We should push each other more. So,
doesn't the Chamber of Commerce events, whenever you went, doesn't it give you that?
Yeah,
it
does.
They literally give you
and
that.
And I believe we're changing that. Yeah, we're
are.
changing it. Porque antes it was like, ¿quién tiene la troca mejor? ¿Quién tiene la hija más bonita? You know, stuff like that. And I saw a lot of, you know, like competition or something. I don't know, really, like where la raza would like knock each other down, which is the other thing that comes to mind when you think about Latino. Like, a lot of my opportunities weren't from Latinos. It was from gringos. So we need to change that.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes back all the way to generation, though.
Yeah.
Right? The same thing, right?
Yep.
If you grew up with little bitty and you have much, and if you can grab as much as you can, you're just trying to give as much as you can.
Yeah.
And you don't really think about the next person.
And it's survival mode. Yeah. It's survival mode.
You mentioned it before, survival mode. So, but luckily, fortunately enough, we're getting more educated. There's a lot more people like yourself, like other people around that
are, like you.
Yeah, absolutely. They're striving about that. Because I think back all the way, way. I take it way back, right? Let's say when we were freaking hunting down mammoths and stuff, right? We were collaborating with each other to try to take that big game down. We were not worrying about competition or who can kill it first. We were trying to take it down so we can survive and eat.
That's where we learn how to do fajitas.
Exactly. So we can take it back to those times where we used to collaborate each other and actually knock down a bigger thing than us, and so we can benefit everybody.
Yeah.
It'll be better than the competition part that other people bring in upon, which I get it. I guess you can say it can help a little bit, but when it comes to the bigger picture, as far as all the Latino cultures collaborating with each other, I think it's more beneficial when we collaborate.
Yeah.
And I've seen beautiful things come together collaborating.
Oh, yeah. No, definitivamente. I mean, growing up, Mexicanos and Salvadoreños did not talk. It was like...
Oh, yeah. It's been on site, and it's been for years. And we're talking about all the way LA times.
Yeah, it was bad.
The MS was founded for the same reason that the Latino Mexican gangs were bullying them, to my understanding. And that's how they came to be. So it's been bad.
And then it was like the Mexicanos quitándole las Salvadoreñas y las Salvadoreñas quitándole los Mexicanos. And that was part of my family, because all my family, todas las salvadoreñas se juntaron con un mexicano, y todos los mexicanos se juntaron con una salvadoreña.
But was it on purpose, or was it because we feel just like we vibe? Because I met a lot of Salvadorian Mexican folks all over the place. And I thought it was most of them like amazing looking.
Well, great that's combo. What my husband said. He's like, I'm obsessed with Salvadorians. Like, the curvy body, the whole thing is his obsession. So I don't know, but to me, I love me some Mexican, man. Like, that was what I was drawn to. That's awesome. It. But I don't know. I guess my whole family was like that. We got here and it was like, oh, that's a Mexican. Oh my God. Like, I need tell, that. Yeah.
But y'all can tell a Mexicano from a Salvadoreño like standing next to each other. You can kind of, or as soon as you start talking. Yeah, no?
No, yeah, how? You can. Pero también it's, I don't know. Like, well, growing up now, I want to say that it's kind of more mixed. Like, now you can't really tell, but back then it was like a Mexicano was more romantico, and they were more of a protector and provider, like 100, like I'm gonna take care of you, you know, like and then Salvadoreños son más machistas, like
more than Mexicanos, because a lot of people argue the Mexicanos are like
Mexicanos are, but like, okay, not machistas in a way of like tú vas a hacer lo que yo te diga. No, more like manly, like no son detallistas.
Masculine more.
No son detallistas. And because in my family, okay, we beat the man. I know, it's crazy. So when I got with my husband and my husband's family, they beat the women. So when we got together, it was like, I'm going to beat you.
They used to have that conversation?
Yeah.
Well, y'all were younger, right?
Yeah, we were way young. And it was like we had to both learn, how to. It's been a journey, but.
We could talk about it a little bit later. Okay, let's get to an interview part. Amazing story that you have from the get-go. You can probably find some stuff going out in social media, on YouTube, and different places. But let's start, since this is the first time here, a little bit of your story. So your mom has 12 kids. You're the 13th kid,
yes.
And she has to leave El Salvador. Did she have an interesting story as to why she had to leave? Was there a particular reason? If it's okay to share, it was legality things. I don't want to get her in any situations. But what happened exactly that made her want to have to leave El Salvador and come here?
So we have to in order to understand my story, you need to understand hers, right? And this is something that I write in my book. Like, don't hate her. Don't hate her for what you hear from me now, right? She started working at age 7. Her mom was hardcore. The day that I met my abuelita, the one and only day I met my abuelita, she was trying to beat me down because I used too much water.
¿En El Salvador o aquí?
Yeah, in El Salvador. This is the first time I'm meeting my abuela, and she's already trying to throw it down with me.
How old were you?
I was I don't know, 8 probably. I was so excited to meet her, and esta señora estaba brusca, oh my God. So no love whatsoever from my grandma. And I can only imagine what my mom grew up with, right? My grandma died at 89 or something because she got run over by a bus. Wow. Because she was working. Wow. At 89, dude, go lay down somewhere, go watch some novelas or something. But anyways, so my mom, she was working at 7. She began, she had to try to figure out how to provide because they were so poor. They were beyond poor. The story is just so sad. She had one dress.
How many kids were there for the grandma, for her brothers and sisters that she had?
I know it was a lot. I want to say 11, but I'm not too familiar with that story because my mom really did not like talking about her.
Was she the oldest, the youngest?
No, she was the third one of the oldest ones. But I know she had a big brother, stepbrother, and he kind of tried to protected her. But so my mom started getting raped in that one house that she was working. And, there was not much she could do. So that's why she got married at 14, because she didn't want to be that ese peso a su mom. So
at the household already happening, she's getting an essay from somebody within the household?
Yeah, so she got hired to be a babysitter at 7.
From some familia over there. Some familia, that had money.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they're like, pues ponte a lavar los trastes, ponte a cocinar, ponte a hacer. So she became the maid. Well, after that, el hombre de la casa, they do what they do.
So she was very young at that time.
She was very young.
How old do you think she probably was?
I want to say she was 9 or 10.
Okay. So at 9 or 10, she starts doing that. But before you know it, she's growing a little more. And now all of a sudden, this man seeing her with different eyes.
Yeah. And there was just but she actually became she just had to. And she couldn't complain. She had to go through it because she needed that money to just have something to eat that day.
Okay. And then fast forward, she has to get married. That's the only reason why she was able to leave the house. Now she left. This other man that she gets is not the best thing ever. He drinks a lot.
Yeah, he drinks a lot. He's very abusive. But my mom she's chingona, so she went back at it with him. So they would get with machetes y todo. They would throw it down. But
with machetes.
Yeah,
they get fights with machetes.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy severe, no limbs lost or nothing, but just enough to where they'll beat each other with machetes.
Yeah, I have no idea how that works, but apparently my brothers and sisters, they all got beat by a machete. I learned about the machete in
Flat.
life.
Not
Yeah.
with the sharp part. Oh,
Yeah,
I know what
yeah.
it because I felt it before too.
Well,
My abuelito.
See, I grew up with it too. Like, it was normal for me to have it in the back of my car until I got with my husband. He's like, yeah, that's not legal. And I was like, what? Like,
You mean my sword? That's my sword.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
what if a dragon pops out? What if freaking chupacabra
you
pop
never
out?
know. Like, you gotta be safety first.
Okay, so your mom, 14, they keep progressing in life, but she has 12 kids?
Yes.
At that time? Okay.
What happens is, so this man is like drinking, doing his thing or whatever. She's kind of doing her own. She actually gets a business out there, gets una tiendita.
Nice.
She's doing what she's doing. That's the time que estaba los guerrilleros. Like the whole war was coming. So she kind of got stuck in the middle to where los guerrilleros y the, ¿cómo se llaman? Like the army from Salvador, like they both kind of stopped at her location to eat, drink, or whatever. Which is bad because it's like you have two different gangs and they're both chilling at the same spot. Like, you can't do that. Like, so they just, like, is the fact, like, I mean, you look like a traitor, whatever you want to look at it as. She was just una señora que les estaba dando de comer, les estaba dando de tomar and stuff. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, cuando the one from the top says, everybody that's involved with them, gotta go. So that's when she had to decide, like, hey, I have to leave all my kids behind and I have to go. And she was like, it'll work out anyways because that way I can provide for them. I mean, they were struggling. That time around the war, like, the economy was so bad, so it was like a good thing anyways.
Yeah.
But she did have a Sancho. So there was this other guy that was sweet talking to her, and he was kind of like the Sancho of Salvador. He had 52 kids. I'm number 52.
Are you serious? Yeah. Wow. So when she came here, she was already expecting with you?
Yeah.
Or was it here?
Yeah. So she was with him over there, right? Like, they had just started kind of like messing around and stuff. But it turns out that they actually fell in love. Like, he actually fell in love with her and she fell in love with him. Like, and he's like, I'm going to go with you. Like, let's get away, So what she didn't know is, like, that she was 9 months pregnant. Like, with all this chaos, like, she didn't even process a pregnancy. Like,
wow.
Like that's how crazy this moment was in her life. So she gets here and she's like 2 weeks. Like, she's about to. Yeah.
And that was you.
Yeah, and that was me.
Oh, wow.
And then my dad, right? Like, they came together, pero he sacrificed himself because the immigration was somewhere when they were crossing over, and he like sacrificed himself so they wouldn't get her and she can come.
Okay. And the kids were left with their grandparents?
With the
la
dad.
Abuelita,
No,
with the
con
dad?
el papá. Yeah,
So
with her husband.
A husband.
Yeah.
Not the Sancho that was crossing over.
No, the Sancho came with her.
Okay. But the dad was also sacrificing himself when the migrant was coming? I got a little lost there.
So the dad, her husband stayed with the kids. I don't, like, he knew, I guess, and this is very hazy to me because again, my mom doesn't really talk about it. Don't
fact check this part.
Yeah.
We're just going based
we're just going based on what I have gathered from,
yeah,
like what I can, because my mom's like not talking about this part. But so what it was that he knew the guerrillero, so he's like, yeah, go, I'll stay with kids. She didn't want to because he's drinking or whatever, but some of the kids are old enough to figure things out, right? So she's like, okay. But around that time, those few months, she was kind of like seeing this guy, right? And they ended up falling in love. And then when he found out that she was gonna come over here por los guerrilleros, he was like, okay, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna leave everything behind too, and I'm gonna go with you, which seemed like a good idea. And they were just gonna come out here and do a whole life. And then, well, that didn't happen, obviously, because immigration kicked in and whatnot. So then my mom comes here.
By herself.
By herself, not knowing not one soul.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts door knocking, just asking people like, te lavo la ropa, te limpio, I could be your maid or whatever. And she ends up in a house that they open the doors for her. It looked like it in a good way, pero cuando mi mom aplicaba, back in the day, you would like apply, right? And then you would write a house phone number because nobody had cell phones back then.
Yeah.
And cuando le llamaban, ellos le colgaban la llamada, you know, because they had a free maid.
Yeah, yeah.
So they didn't want her working. And so she didn't have a car. She didn't know how to drive. So she would have to walk. And the way they explain is like, que me cargaba. Y her nose would literally bleed because of how cold it was outside. And she would just have to walk with the groceries with me carrying me.
And it was here in the DFW
Yeah,
area?
it was here in Dallas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in West Dallas to be exact.
Yeah.
So it's like she literally had to. There's this on Sylvian, like these, they look like,
In the cliff.
yeah, they look like hills.
Mm-hmm.
So she literally had to climb up and stuff anyways, but carry me with groceries and everything, you know? And, you know, they would just say like she would bleed out and stuff. And
Where did she find her first opportunity? Who actually gave her a chance to work? I'm guessing she started as a maid or working or cleaning the house,
Yeah,
or
so-
did she find any other?
well, she met my dad somewhere. I don't have my stepdad. This is, you know, a whole
This is
nother
not
story.
the one that the migra got.
No, this is somebody else. This is a Mexican. So I
your
thought
mom,
I would.
your mom didn't peg it. She must have been a gorgeous
Yeah.
lady.
Well,
Gorgeous lady.
You know, I thought I was Mexican for a long time. My dad raised
You
me.
were?
Big. Yeah, like I mean, he like technically speaking, tengo propiedades in Jalisco, and I don't even know. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. We'll get into it later. But I guess they got together, and
How did they meet? Like you saw her walking the streets, like, hey, ¿qué haces? Come
I
on.
have no clue. I wish I knew this love story,
She
but
don't
I
tell you?
don't. No, it's so sad, but I don't. I just remember this is where I remember. This is when I start remembering stuff. We lived in, still West Dallas. Yeah, over there by Westmoreland.
Mm-hmm. How old were you at this time? You remember about how old you were?
It was like, I was like probably 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived out there, and it was like a really poor house. I mean, like tenía hoyos en la
On the
kitchen.
Adentro en la kitchen on the floor inside?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and where I had to like every morning que prendía la luz, my mom, yo tenía que agarrar la escoba y matar todos los mouses, las cucarachas and everything. Like,
Wow.
just, I mean, it was something that we did, but yeah, like I just thought I was a lonely child. I thought it was me, my dad, my mom, and that was it. Like that was my happy time, my happy childhood. That's where it was still good.
But something takes a left turn, right? Because at one time you fell into the system. What exactly happened that you know? I mean, again, the conditions were not great. She's just making it by because she knows only so much. I guess she's in a relationship, but maybe she's just not working to the fullest. What exactly
So
happened?
so my mom was like really 50-50, and then at this point they like, this is where they started working together, you know, in La Mockingbird, hay el Caballo Rojo, that big building.
Yeah.
They were working there for like 13 years.
Wow. Cleaning or okay.
Yeah, cleaning. $4.25. I think that's what they said.
Back in the days.
Yeah.
The minimum wage.
Right. So this is where they bought a house, you know, and it was right there in Edgefield, Illinois. That was my house, guys. Car crashes every day.
Man.
It's bad. Anyways, they were doing good. But then my mom decides to bring my brother. At least, I don't even know.
How old is he at that time? And why did she want to bring him over?
No clue why. I guess because she wanted to give him an
this
opportunity.
kid, right?
Yeah, and I want to say he was like 19. This is the part where it's hard for me to get y'all, because at this point we're putting things together, okay? And then my dad.
Has your brother got bad habits already from being over there at 19 with everything that's going on?
Oh,
you can
yeah.
say? Okay.
I think at that time, like I think my familia has this thing about being with familia with familia. Like, it's bad. And honestly, I knew a lot of cousins being with other cousins, and it was just normal for me until I got with my husband, and he was like, yeah, that's not normal.
That's not normal. So, but you grow, the crazy thing is, like, if you grow in the environment and it's normality,
yeah,
and that's regular life, it's just regular life.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
and the outside perspective doesn't matter because you're just in there. That's all you know. Yeah. That's all you grew. Well,
this is why I didn't believe my story was a story, because this is my everyday life. I know a lot of people with my story, but apparently, like, it's just tragic.
It's taboo to talk about it too, because you'll be like, oh, como que tu familia con familia, what the heck's going on? You know?
But that's just it. Like, we can go into depths and it'll be crazy, but this is where my stepdad brings his brother. And this is the first part where I feel like I began, like, what I could remember. So I'm going to talk about, like, at age 2, the one I told you, I didn't find out about that until I was, like, 30, 31, that I was going through my healing journey, that I was going through my inner work and all that.
Was it counseling that got you to tap into that?
It was that, and the fact that I was able to meet with old family members that knew about it.
And there were, at that time, you were, I guess you can say, to be, not to say crazy stuff, you were, somebody was taking your innocence at that time.
Yeah.
Is that what was happening?
So my mom was single, right? This is before she got with my stepdad. So she was single. She had to work. Me dejaba con una señora. Esa señora se iba a jugar bingo y me dejaba con el esposo. El esposo le llamaba a su friend to come over, and they would turn on pornography so I can watch it, and they would strip me down and chain me down to a dining room table.
But you were 2 and you couldn't remember some of these things at that time.
No,
so it was being blocked until you got counseling.
It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare, a constant nightmare that I would have. And it sparked up when I got married. I don't know what it is about marriage, but they say que la persona that activates your triggers, that's your right person. But yeah, so, like, I had to do a lot of inner work to find this out. Have to go through my healing journey. So that's where my story actually starts.
So they're doing that stuff, but there's really nothing that they're doing physically at that moment.
Yeah,
they're
just
nothing. Like, just tying you and having you watch, like,
they're just getting a kick. Yeah. They're just getting a kick off of it.
And then your brother comes. Your mom wants your brother, and your brother, your dad's brother, also comes, and that's when more things start happening.
So now my dad's brother, like stepdad, right, viene, and my mom and dad start going to work, and now I'm left alone with him. And that's where he started exposing himself to me, like showing me and him wanting me to do stuff to him. And I didn't understand why it was so gross, but I didn't even know. He tried. I think his guilt got to him, pero he did expose himself a lot. So, like, I got to see all of him, and he, like, ponía mis manos on him and stuff. So that's kind of that part. So then, like, for whatever reason, at 7, around 6, my mom se encontró otro guy. My dad and her were fighting a lot because of my brother and because of my uncle.
What, did they know what was happening with you and that?
No, it was always kept a secret.
Was it kind of like they knew, but they just really want to not really admit it? No, they didn't know at all. They didn't know at all.
And I didn't say nothing.
Okay.
I didn't know what to say about it. Like,
because you didn't know, right?
No,
you're still 7.
Like,
you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So at 7, my mom gets with this guy. Like, I guess this guy, like, le está enseñando como amor. Le está enseñando, like, the world. Like, they go out. They do things that my mom and my stepdad don't do. So anyways, they get together and we move to Irving. So now we're living in South Irving, and now it was like my mom was working. I don't remember, she was working like graveyard, pero the point is que ya se iba temprano, pero no estaba allí when I had to go to school. So he offered, like, oh, I'll take her to school, which was fine. But then it started getting to the point where he was like, dame esto si quieres que te lleve a la escuela.
How old were you at that time?
I was 7.
You were 7 still?
Yeah.
So he's also...
Yeah, so at 5 is when it was with my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 7, so between 5, like at 6, mi mom se juntó con este otro guy, and it was good. At 7 is when it officially started. And like he was like, so then he was like something about like, déjame ver que te bañes bien. So he will get into the shower to check me, right? To make sure I'm showering right. And then, you know, he'll touch me and jump in. Sometimes he'll jump into the shower with me and he'll be like, deja lavarte bien. And, you know, he would just do it. And I guess I was still young enough to be like, oh, okay, this is normal. But then at the same time, I felt like that's the point where a girl starts feeling like self-conscious. That's where you're like not a little girl no more. Like you can't be running around in your underwear no more. Like, so then it started to the point that he started taking me to the closet and just kind of like putting my clothes on. And then he started saying like, oh, well, if you want me to take you to school, then you got to give me this, which was touching, oral, or just show like walking in my underwear or things like that. Just things that amuse him that he liked. And then it was one day that it was just in the closet. He just did everything, you know, and it was, I mean, at that point, I can't force him off. Like, I can't push him off. Like, I just have to take it. And my mom, I did tell her.
Did she believe you?
Yeah, I want to say she did, but
she didn't want to mess up the situation? Or she loved the guy, not to do anything about it?
I don't know if it was a hard... Like, you got to remember, like, this is normal for women in my mom's family. Mm-hmm. It's normal for women to have to do things in order to survive. And I don't know if my mom was struggling and he was paying 50-50. You know, it was, you know, like that situation. And if he was out of the life, then it is what it is. And she was not okay with it. I don't know if that was the case, and I don't know if it was like, well, hey, we need to do something. I don't know. I don't really know because we really didn't touch up on this. Or maybe it was...
You had conversations with her about it?
So I told her once, y le dije, and she was like, okay, like, what the heck, you know? She did get kind of pissed, and I guess she went to talk to him, and I don't know si él lo dijo, like, watered it down.
Or denied everything?
Yeah. No, I don't think... He denied it. I think he just kind of like watered it, like, oh, sí, la toqué o la miré or something. But he didn't say everything. And then my mom came back and said, oh, well, estaba tentado del diablo. Ya se le salió el diablo. He's good. But this was just the beginning.
What are you acknowledging during that time? You feeling at that time? Still confusion about what's going on? Are you kind of sort of a little bit more aware?
At that time or... Yeah, well... I started learning how to numb. I started learning how to not feel. So at this point, I started realizing like, well, like this is how things are. Like I have to contribute, you know, and stuff. Then I started learning to play the game, I guess. Like I can get stuff off of him, you know, if I do this. And my mom doesn't have to worry about paying for this. You know, like if I want these shoes, I can just do this to him and he'll give it to me. And it's so sad that an 8-year-old is learning that game. Like that's something that a grown woman knows, you know. And then at 10, at this point, ya vienen más hermanos. I didn't know who they were because we've always like had like a 2-bedroom apartment where vive un montón de gente.
Like 10 personas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's normal. It's just, you know, like it's just normal. So at this point, yeah, un guy. And he shields me from the other guy. So ahora he'll be like, vente a mi cuarto. You know, vamos a jugar juegos or video games.
Shield you from the dad?
Yeah, from the new boyfriend of my mom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so,
how old is this guy?
So this one's 20 at that time. Mm-hmm. And he was like, basically, like he was just, we were watching movies, playing video games. That's how it literally started. And then the other one didn't have time to touch me or do anything, because now I was with this guy all the time, you know, and like he would be with me like until my mom got there, you know.
And this guy had no intentions of nothing. He was just protecting you?
Well, I mean, I didn't think about it like that. Like it was genuinely just that. And then I guess I trusted him, and then like I felt safe with him. And I don't know, like I guess we snuggled or kissed, and then it just started happening. So that was at age 10, and my period is starting at this time, so I'm like freaking out, you know. And so my period started around 8, and I still didn't know, like I thought God was like punishing me because of what the other guy was doing.
And your mom had no talk to you about that at all whatsoever? Like what's happening to you?
She talked to me once. She didn't know I had it. I was...
How are you hiding it?
I was like literally using like toilet paper. Like luckily I had a very light one. But I was using like toilet paper. Like my favorite were, mi mom trabajaba en ese edificio, so traían las toallas, the ones that you dry your hands with. So that's what I was really using because I love those. Those were really good. But yeah, no, she didn't know. And so this guy found out I had it, and he kind of like walked me through it. And he's like, don't worry, this is something that women have. I just felt safe. And I guess I gave in, and I guess I felt like I loved him, I want to say. Now that I know what love is, I know that wasn't love. It was just what I thought I felt at that time. But anyways,
he was never forceful or anything, right?
No, he was never.
Like
he was not forceful. It's just the fact that he was 20 and I was 10
years old.
Yeah, so he was a grown man. And then it turns out that I'm pregnant at 11, and my family freaked out.
Is that when CPA comes around?
Yeah, like, well, yeah, a little bit after, like at 5 months pregnant, they started coming around, and my family's freaking out. But even though they're freaking out,
is the kid from this guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're still encouraging me to go live with him, which I do. They're freaking out because he's my brother. He's my half brother.
He's your half brother.
And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what in the world? Like, what is going on? Like, I'm working at this time. I'm pregnant and I'm going to school.
At 11?
At 11.
Wow. Where are you working at? Who's giving you a job?
So I was working at the jewelries, you know, en los bazares, en las joyerías.
¿Vendiendo?
Yeah, vendiendo joyería. Yeah. So
you still going to school or you're not going to school?
Yeah, I'm going to school todavía. And
but they can tell that you're pregnant after a certain time, right?
I think they found out because I was throwing up a lot, and I always had like big boobs and stuff. They're like, you know, like, está toda hinchada, no sé, I don't know, but they figured it out. My mom figured it out. I had my 12th birthday, and I was going up the stairs, and apparently like tenía la cadera abierta or something. You know what they say, like, and she literally grabbed me from my hair and dragged me down. Like, I'm shocked this kid didn't come, pero like, she dragged me and, ¿estás embarazada de quién es? And then he was there, and it was like all the blame was put on me.
Did you know you were pregnant even at that time? You don't know what was going on because you're still kind of young.
Let me see. I don't really remember. This is like really hazy for me. I don't think no, I didn't know I was pregnant. I wasn't sure. Like,
but she knew.
She seen me, and because she said it, I think at that time I started like looking into it. Pero yeah, it was like everything was just crazy. And then it was like all the blame was put on me. Like, tú eres la rebalosa, tú eres la que querías, es tu culpa. Like, no consequences for this man whatsoever.
How do you feel at the time when everybody's attacking you?
Like a hoe. Like, yeah. I felt like I was like the biggest puta ever. Like, man, did I really do this? Because keep in mind, like, I've been having this my whole life at this point, like men doing what they're doing. And then there's this whole concept of when you live in apartments in the hood, like los hombres I mean, te miran, they literally eat you up with the mirada, and it was normal. So yeah, I'm living with him now. I'm hustling his drugs because él era pandillero y todo eso. So now I'm hustling his drugs and fighting his battles, pregnant, going to school, and all this. Then CPS gets involved, and then they come and arrest me. They take me to a shelter.
They arrest you because they catch you with something? They arrest you because you're not going to school?
No, they arrest me at school because they're taking me to a shelter because CPS has got involved.
Because you're pregnant and you're underage.
The whole thing. But I don't know why they had to arrest me, but they arrested me. So, like, literalmente me pusieron in handcuffs.
Who told on you? Or how did they figure out? Or who was...
I don't know. I'm guessing one of the neighbors because, like, I mean, the chisme goes around, you know.
But it was the drug-related thing or the fact that you was pregnant
No,
underage?
I think it was the pregnancy part. I mean, everything could have been involved. Like, I have no clue. I just...
Too many things going on at that time to know which one.
This time in my life, that is what I call stress. Eso sí es stress. Because I was going through it. Like, what? Like, I don't even know how to react to this. At this point, like, I have no feelings. Like, it's just... I didn't know how to process a lot of stuff. And then how do I tell my mom that I'm in a shelter, that I'm locked up here, no me dejan salir, da. And then after that, they deported him, and then they put me in foster care.
This is one of the times where you say in your story that the system failed you.
Yeah.
How is it? What happens? And tell me the story from then in regards to CPS and putting you to foster care and the whole system itself.
So I'm in CPS, right? Like, I'm in foster care, which I have an amazing familia. They're bomb. But they stopped giving me the drugs that were prescribed to me, que son para depresión, anxiety, todo esto. Porque at this time, my son was taken away from me. So my son was born at 6 months because I was under so much stress. My body wasn't able to handle it.
And you were a baby still.
Yeah. And I was 2.1, like, he was 2.1 pounds when he was born.
Wow.
Estaba chiquitito. Estaba en el hospital. I was in foster care. And then they're like, yeah, let's give her medication so she can be on zombie mode. Which I was legit on zombie mode. Like, I couldn't barely tell you what's going on in my life at this point. The day that we went to court, and they said that my son was going to be placed in an open adoption, and that's it for my rights. That's it. I lost it. Like, I just saw red. Like, that's it. Like, there was nothing. Like, you just took the one thing that's mine.
Can you feel it whenever you were giving birth? That love that you feel whenever you're giving it,
so
regardless
I was
of everything
a C-section.
that's going on?
I had an emergency C-section. So normal C-sections are usually horizontal. Mine is a vertical, and it was like bien rápido. Like, I had to be under so much medication. That's why he was just taken away. Like, I didn't have that mother to son. It wasn't until until a few days later that I was able to go to the hospital. And then, like, a few weeks in, me dicen que me lo van a quitar. And then I'm in foster care. I can't do nothing. Like, it's so crazy. And then my foster parents are like, you have to feel it. Like, you have to go through your emotions. You have to feel this, because the only thing they would do is give me medication, right? So then they stopped putting me in those medications, and they're trying to help me go through it and figure out what's going on. And then CPS is like, oh, let's take her out of that foster care and let's put her in another foster home. And that foster home was, what can I say? you
Not
know, it's the system, right?
Not suitable for you and the things that you've gone through.
Yeah.
And some people, unfortunately, in foster care do it for the money, not necessarily for the well-being of the kids. So they don't have no interest of you going and taking care of your needs. Of course, yeah, I guess you can say they're doing a service, but what kind of service are they doing when they don't really care for the person?
Yeah, because it's more than just being it's a lot to be a foster
It
parent.
is, because the first ones, I think they had the right idea to wanted to do that, to kind of comprehend the things that you've gone through and the things that you needed to kind of sort of heal to be able to be better and get off the drugs and kind of walk you through it and understanding that. The other ones, I don't know.
No, it was so bad to where I don't know if it was the fact that they were like, the payout gets less porque ya estoy creciendo. Yeah. And they had the option to have a baby, pero they needed to get rid of another one, you know, and like, I don't know. I really don't know, because I got my own issues, right? Pero sí vino la CPS worker and she was like, okay, you're going to go home.
Just like that. And then your mom...
Here's your trash bag. Go home.
But wow, literally, a trash bag with all your stuff. And then your mom at this time, are you keeping in touch with her?
Yeah, so I am keeping in touch with her. And my mom was trying, like, she was going through all the parent classes. My mom was doing what she could do. Like, she was trying to do the best version she could, okay? So it's like, was she her mom? Hell no. Was she a better mom? Yes. Was she a good mom? You know, like, what can we say? Like, from what she had to what I had, it's way better.
Okay. I like that about you, because I've come from the same place as far as having a deep empathy from where your parents came from.
Yeah.
And not even justifying or being judgmental because it's your parents. Knowing her history of the things that you went through, regardless of how bad your situation is, you can only imagine the horrible things that she, and even though it was bad for you, it's still a better situation she was.
Yeah.
And then you don't put blame on, try to judge her, but kind of empathize with her that she did the best that she could with the knowledge that she had at that time to help, I guess, trying to raise you better than her situation.
Yeah, like, I would say, like, did she fuck up? Yeah, she did. I messed up with my daughter. But she tried. Like, I saw her trying. Like, she taught me how to be a hard worker. Man, like, if you think my hustle is grinding, like, I learned it from her, right? She taught me how to survive. She taught me how to never give up. No que me dominen, you know, stuff like that. Like, she tried. And she tried to, like, keep me in school. Like, she tried to show me the minimal that she knew. And mind you, this mujer, she didn't know how to read. She never went to school. She didn't know the language. But my mom became a U.S. citizen, and she passed that test in English. She learned English. She learned how to read English and Spanish.
Awesome.
Like, she did that on her own. What possible excuse could I ever give to myself if I couldn't do the bare minimum, right, of graduating or something, you know? Like, so she did what she could. I'm so proud to have her as my mom. But unfortunately, like, she did what she knew that she could do at that time. And so when I had to come back home, we still have all these men living. Still the same guy. But now that other guy is no longer there to protect me. So now it's, do I want to go back home and continue to get raped? Or do I want to head to the streets? And mind you, now I have connections in the streets because of him. If I went home, I was going to continue getting shoved into walls and getting stripped down. That's what happened the first night when I went back home. So
it started immediately.
I mean, yeah, y ahora estoy más buena. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I was hot. Like, the whole curves, the whole, like, got everything in the right places. Like, that was me. Like, I had the whole thing. So... yeah, no, I mean, este era como un pastel for them, like, right there, ready to go, right? And so I needed to learn how to protect myself. I needed to learn how to be bad. I needed to become bad. So the streets, right away, it was like, okay, I got a job at a bar. A homegirl hooked me up and stuff. We got a fake ID. And, so I learned how to hustle. I learned how to grind. I learned the respect. I learned real girl code, okay? Like girl code to where you fuck up, like we're gonna beat your ass, you know, like the real kind. I learned how to protect myself, how to survive in any situation that was thrown at me. Not to cry.
Are you making any efforts right now to try to get your son? Have you already completely, they took him away from you, not able to get him back?
No, so this was an open adoption. So my family had the opportunity of getting him and they didn't. So this is why les tengo mucho remordimiento. Because he could have been with us. But then a lady once told me, she's like, Mirna, look what happened to you. Look how messed up they had you and your familia. Do you really want your son to have been there? I think God does things for a reason. Unfortunately.
Did you know where he's at? Or you keep up with him at all?
Nothing. I think that's why I have the hunger to be well known. Like, I want my story to be so well known that it's just nation, global, like whatever it might be. So wherever he's at, he can find me one day, maybe. I did take the DNA test, so we have that. And I guess that's why we started a private investigation company.
You want to find him?
I do. And I know, I feel it in my heart that God is going to do everything at its right time. I pray for him. And I hope that he's doing good. I just, like, I can only control what I can control. And that's something that's out of my hands.
Okay. Now we're moving fast forward. You're in the streets. You're learning all this. When does it come for you to get better? Because learning, just having you talk, like, calmly about everything that happened is, like, very, very bad. To be able to talk about it, that took some healing, right?
Oh, yeah.
That took some learning. That took some, like, divine power for you to be able to just, you know, even though you can see you're still a little bit emotional, you are still able to freely talk about it and not be like, let's say, a slave to that.
Yeah. Well,
when those things started happening for you to grow out of that.
So I think, like, it was important for me to not give my power away to those people. It controlled a lot of my life. So when my son was taken away, I just didn't have no emotion no more. Like, I was beyond numb. Like, physically, mentally, like, I just didn't have emotion or feeling anymore. Entonces, at 14, I got in another relationship that was abusive mentally, physically, financially. 15, I was homeless with my 1-year-old because I had gotten pregnant at 14 again. At 16, my principal encouraged me to drop out. And I believed him because era un gringo. And it was like, what in my life would I think I could possibly do? Like, what am I doing? Why am I even trying to go to school? Like, get with the onda, right? And at this point, like, I'm making like $700 a weekend, you know, just at that age is like hella money, right? So it's just like, I'm selling females, I'm selling drugs. It's just like, there's no point of school. 17, I'm in the streets. Like, we're going at it, like, whatever. And then I became known. Like, I was like, you want a homegirl that's actually gonna throw it down, like, no le tiene miedo a nada, like, call up Traviesa. She's like it, you know.
That was you?
Yeah. And then that's how I met my husband, because they told him about me. And he reached out. And yeah, but I don't think he was gonna fall in love with me. So I guess he just like, oh man, like, this chick is legit. But also, I guess he fell in love. And after that, he's like, I want to show you something different. And I wasn't in a relationship, but he kidnapped me and took me to San Antonio. And he like
forcefully, or you just kind of, let's go to San Antonio?
Oh no, forcefully. And it was let's just say unwillingly. How about that?
Okay.
And he's like, you got to break up with your ex if you want to go back to Dallas. And you got to go back as my girl. So this is how messed up I am in the head, okay, at this point, because this was actually romantic to me. Like, I don't know, like, now I think about it and I'm like, what the heck, right? But at 18, I was in the last drive-by with my daughter. She was in the back seat eating her McDonald's. Y como si nada. Bullets flying.
Are you having
yelling.
beefs? Are you having beef issues, or you just happen to be a bystander in that whole situation?
Well, I'm a really good driver. A really bad driver, but I'm a really good driver. Mm-hmm. So I was the driver in this case, and we were doing, a drive-by and whatnot. And I mean, it's just another day. It's a regular day. It is what it is, like whoever gets hit, gets hit. But the point is that my daughter was in the backseat, and she just saw it like any other day. Mm-hmm. Like, no le tenía miedo a estos bullets. Like, they were literally flying. Homegirls are yelling, homeboys are yelling. And that's where I was like, I need something more. Like, I need to do something more. There's no way.
Did you see her face? And he make you...
Yeah, she was just eating, like, como bien inocente. Y nada la afectaba.
Pero tú la viste.
Pero yeah. Y me dio algo más. Y no sabía que era más. I don't know what more is, right? So, the only thing I got at this point was that my ex-suegra, at 15, when I was 15, she was like, tú no eres esta cholía. She would laugh at me. She would be like this señora, she would laugh in my face, and I'm like this straight up like gangster, right? And she'd be like, tú no eres esta. Tú eres una de tacones y vestido y una mujer de negocios. And I was like, yeah, right, whatever. And I was like chickies, like Dickies and Chucks and stuff. And she's like, yeah, no, that's not you. Well, then I heard it again from my husband. And he's like, no, you deserve to be in an office. You deserve to be this. You're supposed to be that. And so went back to school, and I did all 4 years of high school in one and graduated.
Awesome.
From someone that has been told her whole life that she's useless, she's worthless, she's never going to live up to nothing, like eres un disgrace, all these things. No vales nada, eres una basura, like all this. And I did that. Oh, man. At this point, I'm beyond chingona, right? Like, I'm like feeling it. What else can I do? Like, si pude hacer esto, ¿qué más puedo hacer, right? And so my husband's like, we got to get out of the hood. We got to work and get out of the hood. And I agree. I was like, let's do it. And we did. And I kind of followed his lead. Not the submissive. And this is the healing part that I like to talk about, because I gave him 10 years of trauma. Mm-hmm. My trauma became his trauma. 10 years, okay? I didn't know how to be a wife. I didn't know how to be a mother. I didn't even know how to love myself, my daughters, or anybody. My daughter didn't know a mother until she was 14. The youngest one didn't know a mom until she was, like 2 or 3.
Right.
So at 29, this is all fixed now, but at 29, basically, the rumor was that my best friend tried to sleep with my husband, and that she was my best friend since age 12. Mm-hmm. So it triggered everything from age 12. Like, I'm talking about, it was like a shattered glass, just. And I went to hardcore depression. I mean, I hadn't thought about suicide in so long, and there I was, a perfect house, perfect husband, perfect family, and I was over here trying to slice my wrist. It triggered so much that I didn't come out for 3 months out of my office. Like, I was literally just working double shifts as much as I could. I didn't want to get out. I was almost 300 pounds.
What were you doing at the time for money?
We were just 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. I was actually a fraud analyst for Bank of America. Mm-hmm. I wasn't doing bad. I was working from home and stuff, but like, no, I just didn't see nothing good. Like, and my husband had a really good job. Y en eso pegó la pandemia. And then my husband's like, so 10 years ago, like before we opened our business, he had said he wanted to one day open a security company and change the industry, because nuestra raza, like, no les pagaban, cosas así, right? Okay. So I was like, okay, go for it. Dale, like, if you do it, I'll back you up, Entrepreneurship was not in my head at all. Like, at this point, I believe that I'm worthless, I'm useless. que no soy buena, que no soy buena para nada, no soy una buena madre, no soy una buena esposa. I'm nothing. Like, I believe this 100%. Y estoy gorda, estoy everything. Like, it was bad. So pandemic hits, and like, I couldn't even walk. So my job offered to have a gastric sleeve. So I got it. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do this physical journey, I'm going to do a spiritual journey. Mm-hmm. But I need to have a mental journey too. Little did I know that mental journey was going to get so deep. That's when things just started aligning and fixing and just learning about self-worth and learning to just genuinely love myself, right? And then I think it started when I learned that I was God's child. Mm-hmm. Que soy la hija de un rey. And that I have royal blood in my veins. And that I have a crown that I can fix. And I just need to allow him to heal me. To love me. To allow all the goodness that he put in me to bloom, right? And so that's kind of how it started, right? I started journaling. I started listening to a lot of motivational, like, I think it started with one YouTube song, motivational mm-hmm. song. And I would just listen to it every day. And it was like good words. Like, it wasn't our Chicano music, that we listen about beating up anyone. It was good. Like, it was something good. And so, emotional. And then at the same time, since I had the gastric sleeve, I was seeing results, like losing weight, right? And I'm starting to move a little bit more. So then I started hitting the gym, started going to the gym at 4 a.m. And then I got to 3 a.m., and then I saw him like starting the business, and then he would put me on a little bit, but I was like, no, I'm not good at that. But then I started getting in, and then I freaking learned about entrepreneurship, business, and it became like, it was like the same game that I used to play in the streets, mm-hmm. but now here, like, it was literally like, I have hustle, I have grind, I knew how to network with people. I knew how to sit like the biggest drug dealers and put them in the same room and negotiate and collaborate and figure out what strategies we're going to go. Now I get to do that in business with the biggest CEOs, like todo esto, right? And I was like, oh my God, like, what? Like, it just sparked something up. And then when I started realizing that everything was not my fault, it wasn't my mom's fault. It's part of life. And God knows why he did it. He knew why he chose me.
Who taught you that? Or where'd you get that from? How did you come into that conclusion?
It was my therapist. I want to say she was, she broke it down to me.
So you started seeing her through this journey, mm-hmm. wanting to have a better mental understanding. You seek the therapist and you start seeing her, and she started exploring all the other stuff.
Yeah. So she started breaking things down to the point where I started understanding that everything was a lie. Like, the fact is that I survived so much. Mm-hmm. The fact is that I'm still standing. The fact is that I got out of the hood. And I have beautiful daughters, and I have done everything. And although I'm like the worst mom ever, because that's what I used to say, the worst mom ever wouldn't have done their best to get their daughters out of the hood. A worst mom ever wouldn't, try to figure out what to feed them, what to like give them to just have a better life. Yeah, maybe I couldn't feel, maybe I couldn't love them and kiss them and hug them, but I was doing what I knew I could do, right? Like it was like an autopilot, but I was still trying. Like, I was trying to break out of these chains. Like ponle, the way I can best vision it is like, my mom tiene estas chains all around her neck, and they're like tight, So then there's another chain around me, and they're like not tight, but they're around my neck, but I have my hands in it where I'm pulling, I'm pulling them off. And then there's this little chain around my daughter's neck, the oldest, but it's just one. It's not tied up. It's just one. And she is actually putting her hands, like her whole arms through it, right? And then as I'm breaking off, that other one starts loosening up, you know? And I think I finally broke them to the point that the other chain from my daughter broke off. Like, it just fell off.
How did you feel?
It was... I saw my daughter, how beautiful she was. I saw my husband, how handsome he was, how genuine he was. I saw that they were an answered prayer.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the day. I saw color. It wasn't black and white no more. It wasn't red no more. I felt the wind.
Yeah.
Being able to feel is something so important that us as Latinos don't have. And this goes for women and men. Porque sabes que mujeres, they're just trained, sirve, right? Like, do whatever you're asked to do. Just go. La familia primero y todo eso. And then the men are put in, you have to provide. Like hot, cold, winter, shine, rain. Go out there. Just go, And you don't get to process the fact that you're sick. You don't get to process the fact that you're sad, that you're stressed out, or anything. You just gotta go.
Right.
And then you just start to become numb to it. All these men that go out and work, that are blue collars and whatnot, and they're just out here working in the hot, crazy sun, and Texas is insane. And they're burning up, but they don't feel it no more. Because they just know they have to provide.
Yeah.
Igual con las mujeres. Las mujeres tienen todos estos kids haciendo lo que están haciendo, but they learn you can't sit here and feel sorry for yourself. You don't get a day off. You don't get to feel, oh, I'm sick today. No, you gotta go. And that is so sad. So when do we start healing ourselves? Because when I finally did it, it was so hard for my husband and my daughters to understand that I had changed. They couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I think even now it's hard for them to process it. But I see their beauty. I see how amazing they are. I see how smart they are, how funny they are. And the little one, she gets the best version of me now. And she will never know, like, que su mamá era esta mujer de la calle, right? Like, she Googles me and she finds out, oh, my mom is famous, right? And I was like, did you see, like, the mugshots? What did you see? Like, I was really scared when she, said she Googled her, But she doesn't see that. She just sees, like, the best version of me. Like, my mom is the best. My mom does this. My mom does that. And the oldest one, she had to learn how to accept me for the new version. Because I used to beat my child. Like I was old school, like, oh, you talking back to me? Like, I'm going to smack you across the face, right? And I'll be like, ay, eres pendeja, que no sabes, estúpida. Like, little did I know that those words are literally spells that you're putting on your kids.
Yeah.
So now, like, I tell them how smart they are, how gorgeous they are, how amazing they are. Like, I want to feed them everything that I wasn't fed. But I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know until I healed, until I went through my inner work, until I had to journal and put all my thoughts down and talk to someone and let them tell me what they saw from their vision instead of mine, right? Or stop getting advice from the homegirls from the hood that are like, no, fucking leave his ass. Like, they don't know this, they don't know. Pero ellas ni están casadas.
And they're in the same situation or worse.
Yeah, And then it's like, at that time, tenía unos amigos que eran like housewives, and I wanted to be a housewife. I was like, fuck, like, tengo que aprender a cocinar, like this and that. But I wasn't meant to be a housewife, And when I told them I wanted to have friends that made over 6 figures, they laughed at me. They laughed at me when I told them I was going to have a business and whatnot. They laughed at me when I said I wanted to become the first millionaire out of my family. Like, get away from those people. Get away, because they're toxic. They're just, they don't see what you could have. But if you have that vision, then Dios te la dio por una razón.
Yeah. And then you become a crabs in the bucket type of, they don't want you.
Yeah, no, and they pull you down. And so, you know, once I learned God's power, okay, because my husband's like family is muy, you know, like Santeria.
Mm-hmm.
And it was scary. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I went through some stories, but God is all powerful. There's nothing that beats God. And I love power, guys. A power with authority, okay? That's a whole nother level, okay? I like to call up el mero mero and be like, hey, I need this. And he's like, ya está. And that's the type of vibe I have with God. Because if I call up God and I'm like, hey, God, can you do this? He's like, oh, yeah, I got you, baby girl. Like, y me lo da. That's just it. And we all have this connection with him. We can all have this connection. But I didn't know that. So I might have not grown up with a good father figure. I might have never had the love of a good father. But I do now. And my dad is a total badass. Awesome. Cuidadito, you know? But like, now I get that. And now I get to show that to my daughters. And they get to grow up with that. And now my daughter, like, they live in a beautiful neighborhood. They have a beautiful life. And everything that they know about me or the past or they know about our familia, it's something that's so far away. So they can only go up from here. Mm-hmm. Imagínate que todos hagamos eso moving forward. Like, and that's what I inspire to be for other gente. Like, with my story, like, I can't keep my mouth shut. When I was getting raped and they were putting their hands on me to shut me up, to not yell, to not scream, to not ask for help, that's over. That's gone. I'm going to start talking and I'm going to talk out loud, you know, and I'm going to make sure everybody can hear me, because when that little girl hears my story, when that little boy hears my story, when those perverts hear my story, quiero que les remuerda la conciencia, you know, and give power and life to those little kids that are going through that situation. Hey, you're going to be good. You just got to choose to be good, right?
Right.
And so we all have a choice, and I love that for us, because I never thought I was going to be good. I thought I was going to go to hell. I thought I was going to be evil. Like, yo podía ver o hacer a alguien sangrar y me valía madre. It's nothing. Blood was nothing to me. But God changed that, and now I have a heart, and now I have something to offer to the world. So I'm the true testimony that something evil can become good.
Awesome. That's amazing. Man, thank you so much for sharing all that. We had questions that I had, but I wanted to get the story of the things that you really want to express, as far as, like, if it wasn't because of this changes, it wouldn't open up the opportunity, entrepreneurship, and seeing all the things that you've done, which you do quite a bit now. So let's talk about a little bit about that as far as the businesses. So they started a security company. Your husband wanted to change the industry because he didn't like what he was doing, and y'all doing that. Not only a school for security, and then you also have construction, and then you have something trophy, and then I think I'm missing one more. Can you tell me list all the companies and all the services y'all provide?
Okay, so we honestly started with a smoke shop called Extreme Emotions. It was just a hobby, but it taught us a lot about business. That we did in 2016, and it kind of faded off because we started National Special Force. National Special Force is a security company where we do armed, unarmed officers, private investigations, bodyguard services, and fire watch. This is where we decided, and we want, and we're striving, which we are doing actually. We want to have the best company to work for, where the officers are respected, where our clients get that quality that they're looking for, and they don't just have that security guard sitting on their ass, you know, eating a donut and, you know, not doing much, you know. No, like, we strive to motivate all our officers to become the best version that they can, as a father, brother, whatever they might be, and then become the 5-star officer that we promote and we, market out to the public and to our clients. And then we have our security company, which is our Security Texas Academy, where we do license to carry for the public.
Nice.
Even though Texas does not require it, I highly suggest for everybody to get it because you do not know the laws. And if something go down, you do not look like you're being responsible if you don't have your license to carry.
Even being ex-military, like the knowledge of you just know how to handle a gun, you open up to how responsible you have to be by knowing about a gun and the consequences and everything as it comes with being.
Well, I love how everybody's like, well, you can carry your gun anywhere in Texas.
Yeah,
no.
but you know how to use it though too.
Well, the thing is that you can. Like, there's signs that we like on every day, like a lo mejor ni le pones atención.
This is private property too.
Yeah, you can't be walking anywhere. So like, do you know those laws? Do you even know how to clean your gun, to store your gun? Like, there's so much that goes into it. So we do provide that to the public, but for security officers, we do certifications from level 2, which is unarmed, level 3, armed, level 4, bodyguard, and then we do private investigation certification as well. And we also do internships. So to me, it's very important to help the next generation, get them off the street as much as we can. For example, right now we had an officer that started with us as a pool monitor because we do a pool monitor as well with security. He was 16, 17 and worked and paid his level 2, which is an armed officer when he turned 18. And then he got, he's starting to pay for his level 3, which is an armed, but he's 19 ahorita. Pero tiene toda esa experiencia. So right now he's working at the courthouse, pero ya le dieron un offer to become a correction officer.
Awesome.
Imagínate at 19.
19.
And that's what we strive for. Like, that's what I want. Like, that's what I want to help our next gen. Like, let's get you off the streets. Let's get you another opportunity. Not everybody can afford college. Not everybody can become a police officer.
Sometimes it's not for everybody college. Sometimes you need a trade school.
Yeah,
things like that.
And then we help a lot of people open their own security companies. And we guide them and show them. And that's the security part of it. We have our construction company, which is ground up construction. And it has a management part. So that's like 2 companies in one. Construction, we do interior, exterior, and demolition.
Commercial.
Commercial. Yeah, we concentrate more on commercial. Ahí está el dinero. We started with residential, but then commercial just took off. So we've done Chanel, Gucci, Tory Burch, Sunglass Hut. It's crazy the people that we worked with. So, and we just started.
It's crazy, or is it believable that
yeah. I mean, like, the thing is, if you really want it, go out and get it. It's there. Because we were not like we're like, we should open a construction company, and then it's like, okay, opened it, and then bam, like all these contracts, like, oh man. So it's there, and the money's there. And then we have our management part where we do janitorial and porter services and property management. So we have different restaurants, different retail stores, clinics that we do that for. And then we have Classy Ink Signatures, which is my notary business and real estate investing. So kind of a little bit of both. And then I also have my coaching program. So I haven't been doing a lot of that right now.
The coaching program is the trophy?
No. So the coaching program is to help women in business to do their inner work, to brand themselves, and to network and build bigger connections, just like I have. So I will never teach or coach or mentor anyone on things that I have not done. So that's what I tell, like, if there's something you've seen in my life that you want to do, te lo puedo explicar y te puedo guiar y te puedo decir por experiencia. But I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, I know how to do all these things that I haven't done. So, like, if I've done it, I will show you how to do it. But if I haven't, then that's not what I can do. The Trophy Club, that's actually a event space that we have actually offered to other people to do their ribbon cuttings. They might not be able to afford an office, right? Like, we provide virtual office. They might need a training room for an affordable price. So we only charge $100 for 4 hours for them to do ribbon cuttings, trainings, workshops, lo que tengan que hacer. because when you're starting off, it's so hard. Like, it's so hard to do the bare minimal. And that's what we're trying to do, help other people, like, get to where they need to, by guiding them and showing them, like, we teach them, like, when they get virtual office with us, we show them how to get on Google. We show them how to get their platform, their brand, things like that, That's awesome. So that's what the Trophy Club is.
That's
in
awesome.
Arlington.
When do you sleep? Have you learned how to, even though having all those businesses, how to be able to delegate? Because it happens in our culture that sometimes we're very prideful to be able to do everything and, yo puedo hacer todo en esto. But if you want to scale up and be able to move, you have to be able to delegate the responsibilities to the people so you can focus on other things.
It's hard because nobody works as hard as the owner, right?
That would never, but that's when the talent scouting comes into place and you'll be able to.
It really does. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know about delegating until I became CEO, which the only reason I became CEO of our company is because our company grew. And we got our women. So we are a woman certified business. We are a Latina owned business.
Okay.
We're certified too.
Hold that thought, because I want you to. You had a guest that you were talking to. She's a doctor, and she was telling about all these certifications.
Oh yeah, Dr. Cassandra.
Cassandra. I know that you say the certifications, but what does that mean, and what does it mean for your business when you work on that to get in that? Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah. So like right now it's kind of hard because of what Trump is doing. There's a lot of things I agree that he's doing, and there's a lot of things that I'm like, oh, but basically when you have your LLC and you grow it to a certain, honestly, at any point, this is how you get government contracting. Have you heard of cuando they put out bids and they have to give a certain percentage to Latino-owned businesses, or which is minority-owned business, or women-owned business, or veteran-owned business? Have you heard about that?
Yes.
So they have to literally give that percentage out to those people para que no se quede el dinero con los gringos. Pretty much, that's what they're saying. To not be racial, whatever. So these certifications, you would go through a thorough verification point. Like, they go through your whole business. They make sure you're legit. They make sure that you know your stuff. So my husband always said, like, te voy a hacer dueña de la compañía, pero you're going to know everything. You're not just going to be a pretty face and that's it. No, you're going to know the whole thing and structure the whole thing. And so you need a title cuando se viene de eso. Y pues I was like, I don't know. I work here. I do what I need to do, And I was like, I'm the owner. And they're like, no, you need to have a legit title. So that's where I became CEO. So they gave me CEO because I structure. I make sure, like, everything has to be run by me. Everything has to be approved by me. And I have to learn to delegate because as a CEO, I cannot do everything. So although everything's run through me, everything's not done by me. So they're like, you have to spread this out. You have to give this out. And I'm like, what? They don't know. I don't want to teach people to do that. I don't want everybody to, grab onto my stuff. They're like, do you want a small solo entrepreneurship business, or do you want an empire? And an empire is not built by yourself. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay. So that's where I learned delegation. And then certifications are important because, one, they give you a good standing. You stand out from the rest. It's like a plaque that you have on your business.
So is it like a stamp that they give you?
Es un certificado por el Estado.
Tienes que aplicar. Y cuando ya empiezas a aplicar, when you apply, they start contacting you to go through the
interviews,
checklist of things.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like, it was like a good 6 months process for paperwork. And that's where Dr. Cassandra comes in. Like, she'll help you get all your paperwork together and stuff, and put it all together for you. But hey, if y'all got more y'all have more questions, I can definitely guide you. And honestly,
on the certifications.
Yeah. Nice. And guide you to the right people and connect you to the right people. I have no problem doing that. Wow. And anybody can do it. Si tú quieres con el gobierno está hiring para todo. Okay, they need notaries, they need DJs, they need social media, they need people that do printing on shirts, they need everything, right? So this is not just
that's what you're talking about when you were talking to her
yeah,
about
like
that.
everything,
like her homie DJs DJing in Dubai,
yeah, Dubai
somewhere,
yeah.
and he's literally a DJ, but he got all these certifications. Now all of a sudden, all those contracts, the government contracts, opened up for him to be able to do his DJ thing.
Yep, exactly. I mean, think about it. Like when you go, if you're a construction company and you go to a city and you go through all the bids, when you bid, you're gonna stand out because you have those certifications.
Yep, and that's the same thing. Some of the things that the chamber helps out, or some of the gentlemen in the Christian, to be able to get those certifications también. So whenever the bids come forward, the companies are ready to be able to take them. Because they're ready to put people to work, but you just have to look better, like a resume, than the others.
It's how legit do you want your business? How good standing do you want your business? Like when I got to this point, we're not talking about una compañía chiquita no more. We have 52 officers at this point. I'm trying to get everything I can because now I'm not just thinking about my family to feed. I'm thinking about 52 other families to feed, right? Yeah. And I'm thinking about what other contracts are going to give you the most money so I can pay my officers better and they can bring, the best game.
And we're better than the government.
Right? that about to say everything.
But they're going to work for it. Okay, we're running short on time. I appreciate so much everything you share. I almost cried for a second too. I think you saw me. I was like holding that real so hard because it's beautiful. It really is. Because a lot of us they've gone through the healing journey of different things. I never went anything close to what you have, but I have gone through my share of stuff.
Yeah.
To be able to get to that point to where you just like, it's okay, like it's okay, like it's just life.
Yeah, learning to let go of what you cannot control was one of the best things I could have learned. And trusting that God got your back. And
absolutely. Before I let you go, all your social media, where can we find you? What other projects do you have here in the near future? ¿Cuál serían?
So the best way you can find me is through my website, Mirna.ceo.
COD?
Just Mirna.ceo. Es todo. Actually, all my social media is at Mirna.ceo. If you go to my website, Mirna.ceo, honestly, just Google me at this point. Mirna Martinez, everything will come up. But right now, I'm really concentrating on building this strong foundation for my company. I know it sounds selfish, but in order for me to pour into others, I have to put into myself first. Mm-hmm. And so we're really trying to structure this foundation on our company that is strong, that is going to sustain us, and that way we can continue to grow the community and all those around us. So I don't think I'm gonna do the GNB this year, which is the Grand Networking Bash. Last time I had over 800 people attend, 100 lowriders, 80 vendors, and that was put on by myself. But I don't think I got energy or time for it this year. But if anything, just go check out my social media. I'll post my networking events. And, I am the vice chair of the Latino Business Alliance with the Arlington Chamber. I will tell you to get plugged in because World Cup is coming in 2026 and it's coming to Little Arlington. So you're going to want to be connected to Arlington some type of way to grow your business. That's 18 countries around the world.
What are you waiting for? Go Google it and figure out how to get plugged in.
Right. So
they have networking events all the time.
Yep.
Join one of them. Saludos, shout outs to anybody. Todo mundo.
Shout out to all la gente that's struggling, that feel like they're lost, like there's no hope for them, and that nobody's cheering you on. Understand that you don't need anybody to cheer you on. You could do that yourself, but turn that pain into power and you'll figure it out, because it becomes fuel and it becomes energy to strive to whatever it is that you want to do. So if you have had that vision, if you have had that desire, go for it because it's already been approved.
They'll cheer on you later when you make it. Never. I always believed in you.
Right?
I know you could do it.
No, I mean, shout out to my husband, to my daughters, because they have dealt with me and they've been through my healing journey and everything. Y los quiero mucho. They're my everything. They're my reason, right? And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. What is an important lesson that you learned as a CEO that you would tell your younger self that will help somebody else out? What would that be?
Man, I think the best thing as a CEO that I have learned is you can't do it by yourself. So you can get up. Like you need the strength on your own, like to wake yourself up, to not make those little excuses, like to go work out or to take care of you, right? Like that part is all on you, okay? But when I'm talking about like as a CEO level mindset, there's endless collaboration, okay? And there's endless amount of money in this world for everyone. Mm-hmm. So make those connections. Porque no importa how big, it could be a janitor, it could be a freaking president, whatever it might be, but they can connect you to someone that has what you need, and they will get you to that money that's available for everyone. I mean, it's ridiculous. We can all be billionaires, honestly, if we were to spread the money around, So I think that's the biggest thing I learned. Like, you can't build an empire by yourself. Get those connections and start getting that money.
Well, usually when I wake up throughout my day or sometime, I remind myself, I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day. Not to scare me, terrify me, or bring anything upon me. Just realize that life is not forever. It's a reality in life, And then that makes me hurry up and do stuff and get things done. With that, I wish you a long, long, prosperous life. However, when everything's said and done, what do you want people to think and feel about your life?
Well, I want to believe that I made a difference. Like, I want to trust that Mirna becomes something. Yeah. Like, you want to become a Mirna. Like, you want to do what Mirna does, something like that. I'm not necessarily sure what God has for me, but I do want to leave a print where when you are someone that has been told you're useless or worthless, when you were locked in this box and you thought there was no way out, you can become everything that they said you could never become, and that everything is possible as long as you turn it. And I want to be known in las escuelas, like I want to have my book. I'm currently writing my book, and I'm trying to make it into a workbook. So me gustaría que estuviera en un curriculum, that eventually, hopefully, we have inner work curriculums, for people that are going through these situations, that therapists are like, you need to read this book. You need to do this book. I challenge you to go through this book. So this book that I'm writing is going to be my legacy. And that's why it's so hard for me, right? Because I'm going to put everything that I went through on there.
You have quite a bit of chapters done. You have like a time frame sort of where you want to. Of course, you don't want to rush it either. But there's a lot of things that you want to put in there. You have to, just very, very you're already very transparent, vulnerable in the general. So
yeah, I mean, it has to be limited because, if I were to write my whole story, like even today, we dived in and we still didn't touch up on a lot of stuff, Mm-hmm. So, but I just want to put enough in that book where we can connect and you can relate. But I also want you to do the workbook part of it, which are certain steps that I took in order to heal. And that way you can start your healing journey and get you to wherever you need to get to so you can start pushing forward.
Are you partnered up with a counselor to kind of sort of help structure that out?
So right now I'm doing it on my own. I want to put all my thoughts and get them like the first few chapters I got them locked down. And then it gets hard. And then life happens. like I was really trying to knock out more chapters ahorita en estos primeros meses, pero I plan everything and I'm so organized, and yet life happened in January and I'm going through it right now, right? Like, I mean, life happens to everyone. There's no race, there's no excuse, women, men, or nothing, right? So then I have to fall back, and now I love it because it actually tells me, like, don't forget to put this part in that book, you know? And so I think that it's just important for me to allow God to let me do those downloads the way he wants me to do them.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here again. I know we just barely met. I think I've seen like people tag you on social media before I even met you in person. But who was this person? Because you see the Salvadorian flag.
Yeah.
And then Gilberto, again, pretty much told me, oh, man, she has an amazing story, even though we just met. I mean, again, everything lines up perfectly, since sometimes you just go with it and just go with the motions. You just why question it or just go with it. And it aligned perfectly that we're able to do this today, and you'll be able to share your story. And I hope many people hear it. And I can't wait for you to get the book out whenever you do have the book out. Si quiero regresar to talk about it, I'll be happy to have you.
Well, you know, when we do get this book, it's going to be a huge launch. Like, awesome. It's going to be a networking event. I'll tell you that.
Count me in.
Yeah,
Don't
I got you.
The invite.
I got you. Hey, make sure you set up.
Yeah.
I definitely will. Shout out to the mayor of Arlington. He's been a big supporter. Like, that's crazy. City Council of Arlington, y'all been amazing. To have my back the way they've had me, it's beautiful. And I want to bring all my connections that day together. So if you're trying to grow your business, if you're trying to do something that you never thought you could before, this is going to be the room. And like, I already seen it. Me and God already had our talk, so it's going to be epic. So definitely don't miss that launch.
How important is for the Raza to tap into the Chamber of Commerce, the Alliance, and everything else out there?
Oh, man. Right now, Fort Worth, the Hispanic Chamber of Fort Worth. Guys, shout out to y'all. Y'all blew my mind away. Cualquier chamber, donde estén, no me importa, mira. Todos preguntan, ¿cómo le hiciste? How did you blow up? How did you get to meet all these leaders? And da-da-da-da. These leaders are in those chambers, okay? Yeah, like, they're right there. And they're big supporters. You want to talk about the biggest sponsors? They are there. So this is how you get connected. I'm not telling you que vas a agarrar negocio all the time from the chambers, okay? I'm not saying that. Yeah, it's the relationship. Look, you're gonna do this handshake with this one person, and that person knows this person es familia de esta persona, está conectado con este, es neighbor de no sé quién. That's what you need. That's why you're going into this chamber.
That's how this connection happened.
Yeah, this is how it works.
He read the tell write it to me. We talked shortly. 5 minutes. I'm like, man, it's amazing. Let's do it.
Yep.
Like that.
That's what happens in the chambers, and that's how I was able to, I'm an ambassador for the Arlington Chamber.
Awesome.
And I'm the vice chair. I'm about to be chair for the Latino Business Alliance for the Chamber of Arlington. But I just got plugged in. Like, it's not hard, guys, to get involved. Conéctate. You want to get into it? Like, contact him right now.
I hope y'all make sure you get into the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber.
Yeah, and
hit me up. I'm an ambassador too. I'll be happy to take you.
Well, it wasn't it like 300 and something people?
Probably about.
This was a 1 hour networking event
at 9 in the morning on a Friday morning.
Mis respetos. Tengo mucho que aprender.
And that's typical.
Really? Yeah. I've heard. Man, it was so scary. I did not have enough business cards that day.
Like that.
Yeah, but get plugged in. No, and if you are starting your business, if your business is already blown up, whatever it might be, it doesn't matter. Just get plugged in.
Awesome. Again, Mirna, thank you so much for being here, taking the time. I know time is precious, but I appreciate you very much sharing your story. As soon as you started talking and telling me about your story, I just like, wow. And then as soon as I started looking more stuff of what you do, I'm like, wow. And like, it's amazing. And everything that you could literally, I know you write in a book, but you can literally write a movie,
Yeah.
a script for a movie, and have it out and be one of the best movies ever of the freaking things that you went through. It's just amazing. It's crazy. The strength, the healness part. Not only that, but going through those dark moments and everything else, and still get into survival mode, to being numb, to be able to find the healing, to be able to express what happened whenever you were liberated.
Yeah.
How it looked like somebody turned the lights on and you were not able to see that anymore. All that was left behind, and then it develops this amazing person that is in front of me right
Gracias.
now. Claro que sí.
No. Well, Netflix, you better be listening to that. Like, honestly, I would love for my daughters to play my role. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that would be epic, you know, que mis hijas would play those roles as what I've done. Important for them so they know what it is, and also for me to just visualize it, because they say mis hijas se miran como yo. So
awesome.
Netflix, you need to get on.
And without a shadow of doubt, you are a global Latin factor. Thank you so much for being here.
No, gracias a ustedes. Sigan viendo and make sure you subscribe and you get connected.
You heard. This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. I'm your host, Crispin Valentin, and remember to subscribe. And also remember, we are people. We are just like you. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Till next time. Bye.